section of the third cohort of the PowerApps track of textilers. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And we've done quite a lot of trainings this cohort. We've taken us from Canvas app to components in Canvas app. We've done collections in Canvas app. We've done components in Canvas app. And we have also done more on forms, more on business rules, basically building on everything that we did in our second course. So this is an intermediate class, and today we'll be diving right into security rules in Dataverse. So just a quick intro to Dataverse. So like I said, this is an intermediate class, and we have done the main introduction to Dataverse in the previous course. However, I'll just do like a quick intro. So Dataverse is the main database for Power Platform, and Dataverse is not just a database. Dataverse is a more like a data service because it does more than just housing your data. And so for the database side of things, it's a relational database, meaning that it stores your data in tables, all right? And part of the things that makes it a data, more like a data service and not just a database, is that it also encompasses security concepts, and that's the part that we are going to look at today. So we are looking at the security rules in Dataverse. Now we have quite a number of security concepts in Dataverse. So our agenda for today is we're majorly focusing on security rules. But before we just focus on security rules, I would explain some of the security concepts of Dataverse. And after explaining that, I'll also show us just a quick demo. Then we have assignments, but it's not like an assignment that you're going to submit. It's just something for you to read, and yeah, so something for you to read so that you understand more on environment rules, more on security rules, basically. All right. So the security concept of Dataverse can be categorized in the following. So we have role-based security. So for the role-based security, we have security rules. Then we now have privileges, we have access level, we have business unit, and we have teams. And all of these can be used together basically with the security rule. Then we have record sharing. So we have two levels of record sharing. We have record level, we have field level. Then we have the hierarchy security, we have manager hierarchy, and we have position hierarchy. So basically, not to confuse things for us, anytime we hear about security rules, we are basically saying that in your you have an environment, right? When you create, for instance, let's say a developer account that most of us here, we have already a developer account, you have a default environment. Now, any user that you add is automatically being added to your default environment. Okay. So all those users in your default environment, when you add another environment to your tenant, they will not have access to that environment except you add them to this new environment. Okay, and that's where security comes in. So when you add them to this environment, you now want to define the things that they have access to, the record that they can see. So take for instance, there's an organization, and let's say that this organization does not have any business unit at all. Like it's just an organization, which doesn't actually happen. In any organization, you will have business units. You have, when I mean business unit, I'm saying that you will have sales departments. You will have, let's say, the developer department. You will have HR and all of that. So what do you want to do? You want to protect your data. Remember that we are talking about security rules in Dataverse now. So of course, like I said, Dataverse is not just a database, it's a data service. Okay, so you want to protect your data. You don't want, let's say, a record that should just be for sales, right? You don't want that to be made public to the whole organization. What do? There are so many security concepts here that you can use together, okay, and you'll be able to limit what one of your employee can see. Now, okay, so for this we have security rules, okay, and we have privileges. We now have access levels. We have business units. We have teams. So I'm going to start from the business unit. Okay, so the business unit is what I already explained. For instance, you can create business. I'm going to show us quickly how to do all of that, but let me just give us like a fundamental knowledge first. So you can create a business unit, okay, and say I name my business unit marketing. I can have different business units. I can name this business unit marketing. I can name another business unit sales and name another business unit HR. So when I'm adding somebody into my environment, right, I can put them in a particular business unit and assign a security role to that to say that, okay, for this person, these are the privileges I want them to have. I want them to, for this particular table, that table is where we know that table is where we store all our records. For this particular table, I want them to, um, I want them to store, I want them to be able to see some particular things. Okay. For this particular table, I want to give them some particular rights. Rights like I want them to be able to read something in this record, but I don't want them to write into the record. Okay. Then I can say that if they are writing into the record and they are saying from the record, I don't want them to be able to assign to another person. So there are access levels that you can use to give these privileges. So I'm just going to uh, show. So let me just go to uh, security role to show us. Okay. So here are the security rules. And for security role, basically anytime you have security role is basically just divided into 3 sessions. So we have record level privileges. So the privilege basically means that is like categories. So now the access level is what you are defining that, okay, there's a create privilege, there's a read privilege, there's a write privilege, there's a delete privilege, there's an append privilege, there's append to privilege, there's assign, and there's share privilege. So now this access level, what is the level of access I want to give to this particular person? Or what level of access do I want to give to this business unit? All right. So if you say that, okay, I want to give a user right to, so for create now, let's say I'm adding Lola. So for create, I want to give Lola user access for create, meaning that I will only be able to create record, okay? Just my own record. Now, when it comes to reading that record, I will only, because it's user right that was given to me, I will only be able to read my own, just my own record, because it was user right that was given to me, just my own record. That's user access levels now. However, if you give me organization access level, it basically means that you can, I can read and view all the data across the organization. Okay. Now, there's also something I explained earlier that there's also something called business unit. So if I am reading, if I'm giving you a business unit access, it means that you will be privileged to the information of that business unit. All right. Now, if you choose none, you're not giving the person any kind of access at all. Okay. So before we go to role-based security, you might not really be able to make sense of anything I've said. Okay. I just go to make.PowerApps, make.powerapps.com. Okay, so make.powerapps.com, and it's loading. Let's just wait for it to finish loading. Okay, let's wait for it to finish loading. All right, awesome. Okay, please, are we still together? Yes. Okay, so it's still coming up. I'm gonna. Okay, awesome. All right, so once you come to make.powerapps.com, you click on this gear icon here, and you go to admin center. So there are two ways to actually access it. You can go from advanced settings and you can go from admin center. So you can try that out. Let's go from admin center. And if you click on this, you can see home, environment, analytics, resources, and all of this. But the part that concerns us today is environment. I have my default environment and I have another environment. So I told us that when you add users, where does it store? It store directly in your default environment. All your users, you can see them here. But this one, you have to add users to this. So basically the users that you've already added to your tenants, that's when you add them to your tenants, they come here. So the users that you've already added to your tenants, you would now click on this environment or whatever environment you want to add them to. Come to your far right, you will see security roles, you will see teams, you will see users, you will see S2S apps. So we will look at users, we'll also look at security roles. Now, let me show us users. So if you go to see all, you can see all the users that I already have here. You can just come here now to add another user. So if I come here and I do add user, I'll just type, let's see if I still have another person here. I have one more person in my environment. I can just click on this person and add the person. Now, when you want to add the person, you would see the security roles that you need to add. But let's go back to environment and let's go to, let's choose the environment that we want and let's go to security roles. So that's how you add users to your environment. So at times you notice that even when you make somebody a global admin, if you don't give them the if you don't add them to that environment, they will not be able to access. They will not be able to have access to that environment if you don't give them the rights that you need to give them. Okay. All right. So now you can, when you once you come to this place, you can either click on a new row, but I don't like clicking from new row. What I like doing is I like coming to basic user, right? So this is like the rows that you have here is just a basic user row. And just pay attention to what we're about to do, because if you're planning to write PL 100 or you've written PL 100 and you would have seen this part in PL 100 and you might not exactly understand. So I'm going to just explain and you'll make more sense of it when you try it out. All right. So now let me go back again. Once you click on basics users, you go to copy. All right. You can enter the name of the role that you want to create. So I can just say HR and admin, for instance. So I know that okay, whatever role that I'm giving is for HR and admin. So when you click on copy, it saves as, it's like it duplicates it. So it saves as HR and admin. All right. So let's go and look for our new role, HR and admin. Yeah. Oh, it was HR and a role. I okay. All right. So I want to edit HR and admin. I can just name it, change it here. HR and admin. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So I can come here to say HR and admin. Now you can, so automatically when you create an environment, there's a default environment that there's a default business unit. So I'm still going to show us how to create business units, right? But there's a default business unit that you have. So this is the default business unit. But when we create another business unit, you can always update that and choose a particular business unit. So now we know that we are creating a role that is HR and admin. But the way the security concept works is that you tie it together. Just like I have an organization, we have HR and admin in the organization. I put them into a business unit. Then I now get a role and I give them that role. Although you're in this business unit, but these are the roles that you have. Now, when you come here, you can see these are basically your records. So if you have created an entity, that's you've created a table where all your records are being stored, you can come here and look for a record that you created. I've created, I think, a case. Yes. So I have a case record here that I created today, but you can see all of these records. Now, this image is something that if you've taken PL100 exam is something that you would have seen. But all that this is doing, these are um, different roles basically that you can give to people. So all of these are tables. You can see them here. These are tables and these are privileges. Create, read, write, delete, append to, assign, share. Okay. And if you look down here, these are the access, the access that you can have. Okay, so you can see the non-selected here. That's all the space that you see an empty zero with a borderline of red. That is not selected. You've not selected anything. They don't have any kind of privilege at all. You've not given any level to their privilege. They don't have anything. Now, you are going to select a record. For instance, I can say that, where's my case? So for my case, I don't want to take us through the process of building a table because we've built tables many times. Many times. So you come to your table. So this case is my table, and I want to assign this security role. I want to define the kind of role that HR and role basically would have. This is what I do. Case, and if you just click on case, it will change everything across board. Instead of going to each one to change it. So this was what I talked about, that if you give, now this is the, let's check what privilege this one is. This is create privilege. So let's go back to case and say, okay, since this is create privilege, you can see, I don't know if you can see what's the little pop-up that I'm seeing here. So if you hover on it, it will bring out something, and it says that the create privilege on case is set to non-selected. Click to change. So instead of you going up like I did now, if you just hover on it, you will see what privilege it is. So this one is the create privilege. Now, if I give this create privilege user, it means that all the people that I will assign, that I will give the security role, they will be able to create, right? But then they will also be able to see only what they have created. All right. Now, if I decide to give them business unit, they will create. They can create. Everybody in that business unit can also create, but they will also be able to see everything that people in that business unit have created. So let's say there's something that people in, let's say, business application unit now have created, because you can assign, like I told us, we can assign people a um, to a team, okay? And when you create a business unit, that business unit automatically has a team. All right. So now you can say that everybody in this business unit can have the create privilege. Everybody in this business unit can have the what privilege? This is a read privilege. Everybody in this unit can have a read privilege. Everybody in this unit can have a write privilege. If I give you If I give you delete and I put just user, it means the only thing you'll be able to delete is your own record. All right, the user role. You as a user, you'll be able to delete just your own record as the user. Okay. If I come here and I say append privilege, I don't give you anything for append. I come here, what privilege is this? Okay, this is the append to privilege. I don't give you anything for that. And I just come here and I say that assign privilege, and I give it the whole organization. You'll be able to assign something to anybody within the organization. If I come here to say, okay, share privilege, you'll also be able, depending on what you choose to. If I give you just user, means that you cannot share all this information, even though you are privileged to read the information, you are privileged to write, you will not be able to share this anything in this table, any record in this table, you not be able to share anybody, because you have just user access level. Your access level for sharing, this is a sharing privilege. Your access level for sharing is just user. Okay. Um, you can see all of the this is just showing you all the record that you have, showing all the record that you have, all the record that you have. So you can decide that although I have all the record, but for this particular person, this is the only one I want to give to, and that ends it. Okay. So you can save and close here, or just save alone. So if I come here and I save and close, you see it's saying updating rule. So basically, so for HR and role, I have updated it to what? I've updated the case table. All the case table I've updated it, just case table for HR and role. So let's wait for it to update. Okay, great. So now, if you come here, you can see that you have HR and admin. You've already updated it, okay? So you can still come here and you can come here, copy this one. If you copy this one and you rename it and you are typing any other thing, you rename it once we edit it from where we stopped here, okay? So we have to our HR and admin. Oh, so let's go back to had. I've already created a business unit, but we'll go back to I'll show us how to create a business unit. Okay. So when you go to click on your environment, you go to settings. We want to create a business unit. So compare us to go and read more on security concepts, not security role. The security concept is a concept. Security role is just one of it. Okay. So now if you come to users plus permission, if you users plus permission, you can see business units. So once we have created our security role and we've created our business unit, when you add person into your organization, you can now define, okay, even when if you just add the person and you give the person a particular role, and just go ahead. So I created, I just have one business unit created, marketing. So you can come here. I want to show us how to create the business unit. Okay, page isn't responding. Let's just wait for it to respond, and we will now create. Let's see, is it responding now? It's not yet responding. Okay, good. All right. So here you can create a business unit. So now, anytime you're creating a business unit, just know at the back of your mind that there's a parent to child concept. Okay, so your business unit cannot be motherless. Basically, there's a default business unit, like I told us earlier, there's a default business unit that your environment would have, and this is the default business unit. So anytime you are creating another business unit, whatever business unit that you're creating, it will be inside this parent business unit. And that's why part of the access privilege that we have, we can see there's part of the privilege that says parent child. So it means that if I give you the access privilege, your parents will be able, that's your people in your parent business unit, they will be able to see your own record in your business unit. All right. So, but let's just go ahead to give this a name. Let's just say HR. Since we already named the business unit, I try to name my business unit the name I give my business units just to avoid confusion. I give that same name to my security roles. So I'll just give this access and role, except that at times the role that you are creating is not only for a particular business unit. That role can be for multiple business units. So you can just give it a general name depending on how you want it to be. So this is HR and role. Okay. So I've created my HR and role. I'm not adding address. I'm not adding phone number. I just come here and I save and close. Okay, good. Okay, good. So we can see now we have this is our business unit. So we have HR and role business unit. So let me explain this again. This this is a business unit. Now this business unit is a parent business unit and it comes by default to your organization, your tenant. All right. So this is attached to my environment, and anytime I create a new business role, this my business unit becomes a parent business unit. All right. And this is the child business unit. So if you give somebody a parent child access privilege, it means that you will not the people that you give this privilege to, they will not only be able to see records in their own business units, they would have access and privilege to see from their child's business units. So now we are applying this, we are looking at this from a business point of view. So if I have so okay, let's see if time permits, I'm also going to show us hierarchy security so we can see how you can ensure that, okay, for instance, if I give the MD, the MD of an organization, a particular kind of level, if I'm using the hierarchy level, there's a level to it. So if I say that the hierarchy should be in three places, it will just be the person, for instance, okay, let me put it like this. Let's say a junior staff in my organization. I have a team lead. That's one hierarchy. Then my team lead has a manager. That's another hierarchy. Then my manager to give level three access. It basically means that people above level three will not be able to see into my record. They will not be able to see into um my record. Yeah, basically. Okay, so we can see this is the active. This is the business units that we just added. We can see HR and role. We can see marketing that was there before, and they have a parent business unit, like I explained. So now what we want to do, we want to go back to add. So we've successfully created a business unit one. We've also successfully created a security role two. Now I want to just show us hierarchy security, just so that I'm not explaining off my head, so you can see. Now we have so when you come here, this is hierarchy security. So hierarchy is like a model. Okay, you are trying to model your security in a way. Now we have two types basically. We have the manager hierarchy and we have the custom position hierarchy. So this manager hierarchy, you can configure it. All right. This is a manager hierarchy. I'm configuring this now. Let's see what we have there. Okay, beautiful. So now if you want to do this and you can here you can see title, you can see position, you can see phone number. I can just go ahead and you can see full name. Okay, okay. So let's see another. Okay, 1 second. All right. Now, if you are doing the manager hierarchy security model, okay. Now remember case that we already added. What you can do is you can click on the table. Now let's go back to configuring the manage. So before we go there, the hierarchy depths that I explained earlier about the 3 level depths, this is it. This is where you change it. You can do a 4 level depth, meaning that 4 people above me can see into my record. Okay. So now here it says that selectable to exclude from the hierarchy. So you can remove the table that you want to exclude from this hierarchy. So if I have tables that I'm housing so many informations, right? Let's say that I'm building a particular table. I'm building a table that houses the information of new hire. All right, this information I want HR to be able to see it. I want the depending on the use case basically. But for instance, if my MD, my GM, people more like the management level people in my organization, they are so much interested in seeing all of this record. What I can do, I can use a manager hierarchy, all right? And if you have team members that they don't exactly, you're not reporting to them, but they are like your senior, maybe like you have a senior colleague, you have, you're not exactly reporting to them. All of you are in the same team. The person is not your team lead, but you also want to configure hierarchy for the person. This is where you configure the hierarchy. And when you're configuring hierarchy, you can choose the person. You can choose the person that you want to configure the hierarchy for. You can see full name here. Just look for the people and you would configure the hierarchy for them. And you can see business units. Basically, you see this is the parent business unit that I showed us earlier. Okay. So this is the parent business unit you show us earlier. You can click on any of it. If you click on this, you will see username, you will see first name, you will see all of the records that you want to see. But I don't want to go deep into this because it can be very confusing and I don't want to bore us. So, but when you start building yourself, you would, I'm just going to put this at 3. So when you start building yourself, you're going to understand um, this. Okay, so now we've looked at business units, we have looked at security rules. Now let's look at users because is a user you're trying to add to your environment and you're just trying to map the user into a business unit, put the user, create a security rule for the user, which we've done. So let us go to user. You can also go to your user from here. If you don't want to use this, you can also come to environment, choose the environment, and you can see users here. See all users. Okay, so I have this user already, Annabelle, Toby, Lola, and Shil. So You can click on add user. So I'm just going to add a new user and show you what to do. Okay. All right. Now you can see different roles. So I'm just going to go ahead and look for HR and admin role. Remember I changed it to admin. So I can just go look for HR and admin, select HR and admin and save it. So you see, it says that security roles have been updated for Ayodeji Olokun. Now, when you're doing this, let's refresh. We can see Ayodeji Olokun here. So if we select Ayodeji Olokun, you will see is business unit is the root business unit. Your root business unit is that default business unit that I showed us the other time. That is the business unit that it should automatically pick. So, but I don't want to do that. I want to come here and it says business unit select. So I want to look for my business unit HR and role and say okay. So I'll be moving Ayodeji now to this business unit. Okay. So if Ayodeji logs in now, the access that is going to have to the case table will be the access that I have given him. You don't need to be, for instance, you know that organizations don't want, they don't want staff to know how much they are billing customers so that you will not see your employees just start revolting to say that you have to be paying me this amount. So all you just have to do, they might have access, they might be able to see the environment, but here, using your security, you basically limited what each and everybody should do, or each what each and everybody should see. You don't want people to see, like in my organization, you basically cannot see the age of people. You can see the month, but you can't see the age. Where it's stored, they've applied a security rule to say this and this and this and this. You can only see your own record. So when you can see your own record, what security rule did they use? User security rule. All right. So the assignment would be that we should create a security rule, create a business unit, create a table. I didn't start from the table. I used an existing table that I had created today just because of our time. I did not want us to use more than an hour. All right. So you create a table, you create a security rule, you create a business. In the new environment that you have that is not your default environment, add somebody that is in your default environment. You've already brought the person is in your tenant. So add the person to your environment and give the person some rights and try to see if what the person is going to see. Okay. So let me take questions and let's see if you have any question. I can go over all that I've explained if you have a question. All right. I hope that I have not confused us at all. Okay. So does anybody have any question?